Alright, so here's some Tango conversation. I'll talk about foundation and some of the basics that we may try to encounter to improve the Tango of ours. So Tango is a flat dance, relatively speaking. If we had to dance in a low ceilings, that would be a good representation of what it should be happening. It will always be somewhat here. Although it's a flat dance, it's still a squatting dance, so there's a big difference between overdoing it. Also, we compress for the purpose of movement, so it's not necessarily a stationary dance of any kind. No swing that you have to worry about. So, if we take forward step, for example, the forward steps, they have to be heel lead based. When we're taking a heel lead, we have to compress. We're going to start with a toe ball flat heel. Once we get to somewhere here, we will start pushing our center halfway. This will be somewhat a split weight position. And in the end, we're going to push ourselves over the center. I'm going to do it again from a different angle. I'm going to start with the right foot here. So I will basically create toe ball flat heel action. I'll push my center over the foot, and then towards the end I'll create a little more force to move even more. Then after that I will of course bring the back foot, I will brush the feet, and I'll recreate the action starting with the left foot. I'll do a toe ball flat heel, soft, push over the foot, and get on the foot. On the way back, it doesn't work the same way, but before I explain that, the things that you have to sort of pay attention. When you're in a split weight position, on the way forward, remember that that's not the end of the action. You still have to push a little more before you move your center. The other thing is, the heel does not roll too early, meaning when you commence to a toe ball flat, you want to make sure you don't almost immediately convert to a heel, because that defeats the purpose of creating that flatness to a degree. Now, when you're moving backwards, there are a few things that you have to be aware of. The first one is space matters, so with that being said, make sure to take a certain amount of space. You go through that flatness, right? And then from here on, this will be your split weight position to a degree. You still want to make sure you push a little more before you start bringing the foot in. While bringing the foot in, we have spoken about bringing it through the heel. We're kind of peeling the toe off the floor and then moving. So you're going to close your feet. You'll create the same action on the way back. So from here, you will start pushing through a split weight position, and of course push a bit more to enter the next step. We always brush our feet, we try to stay flat. If you feel that there's a loss of balance, try compressing more, center of balance closer to the floor. Another thing that you may consider is when you're taking the steps, especially in a straight line, so to speak, we kind of try to push a bit more through the inside edge of the foot. And I don't know if that will be anyway seen on the camera, but worth attempting it. If I'm taking a forward step, instead of going through a flat, I actually push a bit more towards the inside edge. Now, when I say towards the inside edge, I'm basically trying to have about a piece of paper space through my outer edge, right? So if we have inside, outside edge, both of the foot, toe, heel, we kind of try to dance on this side of the foot when compressing and moving forward. That's going to help you balancing the steps of yours. Obviously, depending on what figure we're targeting, we may have to experience the outside edge. So for example, if I'm commencing the left turning figure, I may actually have to roll through the outside edge before I move again. Yet the exercise is for a progressive forward and backward step only. Now, when dancing a promenade, very often we experience issues with sustaining the position as itself from the upper part. Now, if dancing it correctly, we can try to do just upper body for exercise. So I'll turn the head slightly to the right, I will rotate the feet, and without trying to overdo the frame and definitely sort of relaxing our legs and knees, I'll literally just try to maintain the upper body. So I'll basically face where it should be, and then we'll take a step, then we'll take a step, then we'll take a step, then we'll take a step. One of the major issues quite often is basically just keeping that twisted position. Obviously, if you get to feel far more comfortable with the step, you can start upgrading it by A, creating a wider frame, B, starting to do more of a proper footwork, so to speak, or at least compressing through the knees. Let's just say we compress through the knees and then we walk. We can also start adding the footwork that it should be, which will obviously be a heel lead, and then getting